Fog oil smokes rely on vaporization of mineral oil into the atmosphere and subsequent condensation of the oil particles to form very small droplets suspended in air, as a result creating thick smoke. Traditional techniques of vaporizing the oil with a heater, as in fog pots, go back decades, as used in the military for screening troops. The effectiveness of a fog pot can be captured in the form of a portable handheld cartridge or canister described in this video. The fog oil smoke composition works in a similar manner as that of a fog machine, creating heat, gas, and a vaporized fluid that condenses after being exposed to the cooler atmosphere. Configured in the form of a portable canister, the operation is similar to that of a conventional colored smoke grenade. The heat and gas are generated from a pyrogen mixture composed of potassium nitrate and sugar, creating hot water vapor and carbon dioxide. The fluid vapor is mineral oil, which vaporizes from the heat of combustion of the pyrogen and then condenses after being ejected from the vent holes above the canister. The composition, once initiated, sustains a steady burn rate and creates very dense oil-based fog. It all starts with a Tiki Torch can. The wide mouth, or the Tiki brand, is a lot easier to use. It has a wide mouth, which makes things... This one has already been used, but I am, for demonstration purposes, using it again. First step is to coat the inside of this with a plaster-based compound, whether it is plaster of Paris, fast patch, Durham's, whatever, doesn't matter, as long as it's fire retardant. All right, load it up. You want it a little thin. This is thick for the purpose I'm using it for, but I have a trick up my sleeve. And you can laugh, but don't knock it until you try it. A vibrator. For liquefaction, one of the most useful chemistry tools, laboratory tools, and kitchen tools. in existence. However, see, you couldn't do this without a vibrator. We just drain out the excess. See? I'm gonna get this out of camera view because that looks weird. And here we have it. This will provide enough fire dampening, thermal dampening, whatever you want to call it, to make it a little bit safer. It also seals the rim of the can against the potentially permeable mineral oil that we will be using in our mixture. While that is curing, I have it on a space heater right now, we can trim this lid, this cap, down to size. We want to cut off this flare, this flange. It's definitely hot enough. So maybe that was a little bit too hot, but whatever. Now, grinder. There we go. Six parts potassium nitrate, 4 parts sucrose, powdered sugar, 3 parts mineral oil by weight. We're going to do 240 grams of potassium nitrate. The yield for this is going to be excessive, but whatever. Obviously, you can scale it down. Scale it down. Now, you're definitely going to want to grind this potassium nitrate down for any clumps. Coffee grinder, ball mill, whatever you got. I have a ball mill, and that's obviously ideal, but it takes a long time, and it's unlikely that my viewers will have one of them. So I got to plug this in. Put it into a 1-gallon bag. I grind it until my coffee grinder gets real sad. All right, close this up and put it aside until we've measured the sugar. So we're going to do 160 grams of, wait a minute, 4 parts, 40 times 4, 40 times 4, yeah, 160. All right. So I also tested lactose. I ordered some from Skylighter, and I tested it at the same ratio. Now, I don't know if it has the same stoichiometric ratio. However, I would say it was a significantly less, well, it underperformed the powdered sugar, given the design of the grenade that it's in, right? And so, you know, I've tried 30 different iterations of this, to like try and hone in this potassium nitrate based smoke grenade. I'm not even messing with potassium chlorate yet, because that's going to probably be awesome. I mean, it burns at a cooler temperature, but anyway, long story short, yeah, you want to mix this longer than you think is necessary. Like I was saying, I've done a number of tests, a number of formulas, number of ratios. I found that I'm going to give a shout out to Tech Ingredients. The guy is absolutely awesome. I wish that by the time I reach his age, I can have acquired as much knowledge as he has. However, when I made his formula, which was using paraffin wax, I found that the performance was extremely inconsistent for the use that I need. Well, the tactical use, I'm going to say. Obviously, this is not a military grenade, but I believe it is the most effective homemade smoke grenade that you can make. I should say the most effective I made. So we're going to do 120 grams of mineral oil. Okay, so they say to use heavy mineral oil, and I ordered this. Mineral oil, heavy, lab grade. It's for culturing cells and such. However, it appears to have the same viscosity as Target mineral oil, a lubricant laxative, or CVS. You can buy it anywhere. It's commonly used as a laxative. I don't know if this is light or heavy, but I'll tell you, it appears that they have the same viscosity. I didn't do whatever that test. Is it a Ford funnel test? Oops. Or is it a Troy? I don't know there's a viscosity test with a funny little cup. But yeah, anyway, the mineral oil is perfectly adequate. And I'll say, in terms of the lactose versus sucrose or powdered sugar or granulated, the lactose burned a lot cooler and slower, and given the design that of the canister, right, of the delivery system. So I tried a number of different things. I would strongly recommend not venturing outside of my directions here, because safety is a concern. Fires are a concern. You do not want to burn yourself, start a fire, make a rocket, make a bomb. This is a very, you saw it. That's how it performs. And so I tried to, I wanted to increase the delivery, the rate of the initial smoke plume, and I was like, okay, I'll granulate it. So I granulated it in a fine cheese grater, and it fucking exploded like bad. Not bad, but it exploded. It was wildly dangerous. Sparks flew everywhere. Or, flaming smoke composition flew everywhere. Because once it's exposed to oxygen, this thing will just flame. Part of the smoke effect is because there's headspace, right? And headspace is the area between, basically, where the smoke So you'll see. I'll show you once we get there. But anyway, I tried granulating it. Bad idea. I tried granulating it at fine mesh cheese grater, and I granulated it at 4-mesh, which is like a 4-mesh screen. Those are pretty large chunks. Those are like that big. And then that exploded. Then I tried to granulate it at a 4-mesh screen and then gently reassemble it, and it exploded. So what? And the other factor, I inadvertently created a rocket by creating 2 ignition points, right? So anyway, the rate at which this combusts in the container that it's in is part of the safety of being able to throw a smoke grenade, and have it land on its side and not start a fire, and to create a ton of smoke and burn for 3.5 minutes. Now, the final grenade design that we're going to use is going to be a different ignition system, slightly different. I realized after the fact that what you saw in the video is a side-mounted ignition, right? And it dawned on me that I should have it top-mounted because people want to put those in their pouches. You know what I mean? And these are very large smoke canisters, and they're already cumbersome enough. So I put now we're going to be making the ignition, well, it's a separate video of the ignition system, but you'll see. Top mounted, I think, is going to be better. All right, this is good to go. Tiki can lined with plaster of Paris. We're just going to load this bad boy in, or this stuff in here. We might need a stronger vibrator, honestly. I'm going to use a concrete vibrator. Okay, so I lost a bunch of footage, and I'm going to try and pick up where we left off. It was basically, I was looking for a concrete vibrator to lower this. I never found it, so we filled it up to about yay high. We want to leave a little bit of room for some head space above the next layer of plaster we're going to do. So just bang this down, and I'm going to mix some more plaster of Paris. Magic, snap to now. Done. This igniter has its own video, okay? I know this looks kind of ghetto. This is a derivation of the pull pin ignition system, which is basically just this tube here. But this is a stormproof match, which is attached with a time fuse between it. So what we're doing now is we're going to stick this through the cap, and then we're going to stick this igniter in the middle down until right about there. Okay, and we're gonna sneak in. You know what, we could even go like this. We're gonna sneak in this plaster of Paris. Just a thin layer, but thick enough to support itself. Move this over like this. So this layer of plaster of Paris is to create a baffle. Just going to bang it flat. We're going to essentially have two baffles on this. One is through this plaster of Paris once it cures, and then one is going to be in this lid. And I'm just going to lightly secure this lid to keep this ignition system oriented properly. Okay, that's where we want it once this cures. All right, I'll be back. All right, we're back. This is the plaster of Paris has firmed up a bit. And what we're going to do now, I'm kind of winging this as we go because I have not done a top ignition system yet. I've only done it on the sides, and now I'm kind of thinking it's probably a better idea to keep it on the side. My concern was the pouch, putting it into a pouch, but this is actually probably worse because if you're reaching into the pouch, you're going to be hitting the ignition system anyway. So what I'm doing here is I'm taking a little strip of a cotton rag and tying it around this thing, right? This little cylinder. And so I'm going to tighten that up, then slide it up here. Put this in. Hopefully it won't get sucked up by the drill bit. Actually, it most definitely will. Stand by. All right, I got these cute little scissors to cut off this excess, right? So this is, we're going to use this as a key for the CA glue, the super glue. It'll absorb it as it runs down this cylinder, and then you'll see. All right, so we got that there, right? That'll act kind of as a stop. We're gonna screw this on. Don't want it to cross thread. Should click. All right, dump some CA glue there. And this is a activator. You don't need this, but this is 2P10. If you watch any of my other videos, I fucking love this glue. It's awesome. All right, so that'll cure. And now we're going to drill the baffle. All right, so I have a stepped drill bit here. The wider the better. All right, so we have one baffle on the cap. And now we're going to drill some vent holes through the plaster of Paris. Yeah, those are good. And we're going to try and angle it towards that igniter. Little pop. Little pop. Pop. There we go. So if this is going to be stored for any length of time, I would recommend plugging, just kind of softly or gently pushing in some sort of either paper towel or parchment paper, or wax paper would be better because it's actually combustible. Well, so is parchment, but it just is a little tougher. You know, just for storage, because what happens is the mineral oil will pool as it's trying to reach equilibrium. You know, it's just shifting from high concentration to low concentration or whatever, and it ends up pooling in those little wells. So just if you put an absorbent, even a little loose piece of cotton is fine. But and then we can open this cotter pin up later. But here it is. We'll try and get a close-up of this. We're gonna just test it real quick. Pull this safety. Let's check the center. All right. So this is more of a fog. It does not smell smoky. It's essentially atomized mineral oil. It's really good for obscuration. Because it reflects a lot of light. There goes my truck. Very consistent output, no flaming up, which is great. Predictable duration, 3 minutes. Well, it's been 4 minutes, but There you have it.